What's going on YouTube? It's CFB here. I got another deck profile here for you guys. It's for Great Nature, Leopold Reverse. The reason I didn't put this deck out in May is because I actually traded for this deck over the summer. I did a deck swap. I got rid of my Spike Brothers deck and I got this deck. I didn't actually build it. I got it from somebody, and then the list that he gave me was actually pretty similar to what I wanted to play, so I kind of kept it the same. But it's a decent deck. It's kind of a late game deck, but I think it's still pretty good. I'm not really a fan of late game decks. I'm more of a fan of mid game decks, but I still have it, and I still like playing it. So I'm gonna give you guys the list for it right now. The starter is Blackboard Parrot. There's not really a lot of options for this deck other than like this guy. What he does is you put him into your soul, and you choose a rear guard, and if that rear guard would die during game phase, you get to draw a card. So it's okay. It's a 1-for-1 almost always. The other card that you might be able to play is in this build that I really like is a Telescope Rabbit. What that card does is you counterblast 1 and you tap it, and you give a unit 4K power. And then with Leopold's Learn Break skill, you can actually lock that rabbit and then give 2 more rear guards 4,000 power. So it's a decent card, but it counterblasts 1. And it's also only a 5K boost, and it just usually sits around the field or behind your Vanguard, so it's kind of iffy. I actually play tested it a little bit, and yeah, I wasn't a fan. So I'm sticking with the Parrot for now. It's definitely going to be a free +1 for you. For triggers, we're playing 5 criticals, 5 stand triggers, 2 draws, and 4 heals. Truth be told, I'm only playing the 5 draws because I think this card is kind of cute, and it's got a decent effect where you take it from rear guard, stick it into your soul, and give you 3,000 power. So if you're going for an endgame push, or if you're trying to fix columns, this card can be really helpful for that. But it's only a 2-of, like I said, because 5K shield is kind of bad if you don't, call it out. So alternatively, if you don't want to play draw triggers, you can play 6 crit 6 stand, or you can play 5 crit 7 stand, 7 stand 5 crit, 4 crit 8 stand, 8 crit 4 stand, up to you. But both crits and stands are really good in this deck, and you definitely don't need as much draw power because there's a lot of draw power built into your break rides and your grade 1s and your grade 3s, I should say, I guess. Actually, in general, there's just a lot of draw power built into this deck, as you'll see. So for grade 1s, we've got 4 Coiling Duckbill, 7K booster. When you call it to rear guard circle, choose another of your Great Nature rear guards, and then when it dies, you draw a card. So it's a basically, from a strictly mathematical advantage standpoint, this card is going to be a 1 for about 1.5, because you're not discarding it to draw a card, you're committing it to the board, and then you're going to get a plus off of it when something dies, which is going to be a 1-for-1, plus you're going to be committing something, so it's about a 1 for 1.5. And plus it's just a good card all around, just like 7K booster. The next card is 3 Washup Raccoon. Let me read you what this card does, because it's kind of interesting. So when it dies, you counterblast 1, choose 3 grade 1 or greater Great Natures that are not named Washup Raccoon from your drop zone, put them at the bottom of your deck in any order, and then search your deck for a Washup Raccoon and add it to your hand. Okay. So okay, I'll say it this way. TLDR, this guy is a 7K version of Hamsuke. When he dies, you counterblast 1, and then you switch another copy of him to your hand. But he also lets you choose 3 cards from your drop zone and put them back to your deck. So that can help you by putting back perfect cards again, by recycling your Binoculus Tigers or any other cards that you may have lost. The one downside to playing only 3 of him is that you only get to search him out like twice per game, right? So you get this one, it dies, you grab this one, it dies, you grab this one, and you can only do it like twice a game. So I honestly would play 4, number 1 if I had a 4th one, and number 2 if I had space to play a 4th one. Otherwise, it's kind of iffy. But I do like this card a lot. It gets you a free 1-for-1 when it dies. For only counterblast 1, it also lets you recycle your cards. So this is a very good card. If you're not playing this card, play the Grey 1 Hamster. But remember that the Grey 1 Hamster is only a 6k, but he's a 7k, so this card's a lot better in terms of boosting. Or you could just play Stamp Sea Otter, because that card is never going to die, and you can give it as many boosts as you want. Up to you. But this card's my favorite. Next card is 3 Tank Mouse. Personal preference, I don't think you need to play more than this. It's a card that you want to see every game, but you don't usually need to see more of it. So what this card does is you play it, 6k booster, and then every turn you can tap it and choose a rear guard and give it 4k power, but it dies during the end phase, right? So ideally what you do with this card is you put it behind Leopold Reverse, tap it, give a unit 4k, and then use Leopold Reverse to lock it, and then give 2 more units 4k power. So, like I said, you usually only want to see like one of them per game, but like, actually, let me double check this really fast because I don't want to get this wrong. Okay, so Leopold's Reverse effect can stack, so playing like 4 of these can potentially be good, but remember that it's only a 6k boost, and it's only really good with Leopold Reverse. Like, it's okay on its own, but it's really good with Leopold Reverse. That's the main reason you're playing this card. So, like, playing more than this, you're probably going to be seeing it early game, and you may even have to ride one, right? So why would you ride a 6k when you could just ride, you know, a Duckbill or a Raccoon, right? That's a 7k defense instead of a 6k defense, right? That's why I'm only playing 3 of it, because I don't want to see this card as often early game, but I want to be able to have at least 1 copy of it for late game when I get Leopold Reverse. So I think 3 is the perfect number. It's not too many, but it comes up often enough. So yeah. And the last card is 4 Cable Sheep over perfect cards. We don't have any Quintet Walls for this deck, so we're kind of limited in our options, but play the 4 Cable Sheeps if you can, please. Alright, moving on to grade 2s. I'm hoping the rest of this video moves along pretty quickly. We got 4 Binoculars Tigers. He's your main beat stick of your deck. He's only 9k, but he gives another rear guard 4,000 power when he attacks. So he's kind of like a 13k attacker almost. Yeah, not much to say about that. He's kind of mandatory at 4. Next card is 4 Compass Lion. He's 11k, but during each of your end phases, you must retire a rear guard in order to keep him on the field. Actually, no, you just have to retire a rear guard. Like, yeah. So when it says choose one of your rear guards, you can choose to retire him, but like, you know, it's up to you. Basically, you use him to retire anything that would die anyway, and then you just keep him as an 11k attacker. So it's pretty good. You can play Geograph Giant here if you don't feel like you're going to be killing stuff off really that often. But like, I don't know. I get the Washer Raccoon and Duckbills come up often enough so that its card is pretty relevant. So I like playing 4 of it. And the last card is 3 Lamp Camel. Nothing in this deck counterblasts outside of your Washer Raccoons, so it's really good to have this kind of card to waste counterblasts. When this card attack hits, you can counterblast 2 and draw a card. So it's another advantage card for you, and it also helps apply pressure, and it also lets you use it for your counterblast that you're not going to be using. Because literally nothing in this deck counterblasts except for the Raccoon. So pretty straightforward grade 2 lineup. Grade 3 is even more straightforward. You got 4 Chat Noir. When you break ride with this card, your Vanguard gets 10,000 power, and then whenever your Great Nature rear guard attacks, you can choose one of your Great Nature rear guards. That unit gains 4,000 power, and then at the end of turn, you get to retire that unit and then draw a card. So basically, you're going to be able to get 2 free dopes, and then anything that gets doped with this guy's effect will be able to give you a +1. So it's going to be 1-for-1, and you're going to get to apply lots of pressure for free with this card. So it's a great card, synergizes well with the deck. And then the last card is 4 Leopold Reverse. What he does is more than once per turn, you lock a Great Nature rear guard, and then choose 2 of your Great Natures. They get power plus 4,000. They die at the end phase, and then when they die, you Spirit Call them back. It's broken. Well, actually, it's not that broken, but like, that's really good. Like, you're totally getting rid of any minuses you would have accrued from doping them by bringing them back. So you basically choose 2 of your rear guards and say, okay, these are my dopers. Here's my doping targets for this turn. By the way, doping is a term we use for giving them a 4,000 power, but we kill them at the end phase. So choose 2 of them to dope, and then you say, okay, so I'm going to focus all my power on these 2 units, and so that way when they die, I can bring them back without having to replace them. So you do that, and then you use your tank mouse and give one of them a boost, and then maybe you have another tank mouse, or maybe one of them is a binoculars tiger, so that's going to be able to power up the other one. And so you have all this free power, and during the end phase when they die, they just come right back with this guy. It's so good. So this deck has a lot of advantage in it. Like I said, tons of advantage in the grade 1, 2, and 3. You may not even need to play draw triggers in this deck. You can probably afford to get away with, crits and stands. I think it's a pretty good deck. I don't play it that often because it's not my favorite deck. I've been playing a lot against Lot Zenith lately. But it is by no means a bad deck. If you have any more questions for me, comment below. Comment with questions, comment with suggestions. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks for watching, guys.